Hi, my name is John Moran, and I'm going to uh, use this screencast to show you how to set up a project in Eclipse for Seam 2.2 from JBoss, from JBoss stable. Um, I found Seam was pretty good at, you know, all you had to do was go to the examples directory in a console and type in ant, and it would deploy to the JBoss server once you set the JBoss home property in seam.properties. So that was very easy. And the other thing it was good at was the seamgen script, which um, gave me a boilerplate web application that let me see the data in my tables. But where it seems to me to be weak is it doesn't give you an easy way of making the examples that it provides available in your IDE, specifically Eclipse. After much trial and error, I discovered that in fact the JBoss tools let you do this. So we go to Java perspective or any perspective that does something similar, and then I go to new project. I go to project examples, and not all of the project examples from the JBoss examples subdirectory are there. In fact, most of them aren't, but there are three examples, which is the DVD, the booking example, and the photo album example. I guess it would be nice if the registration example was there as well because it's so small. But anyway, you can pretty much figure that one out yourself. So you just download those. If you're using Seam 2.2, make sure you use the right version because, well, actually, this is an easier way. Okay, just make sure you download the version that's appropriate to the version of Seam that you're using. There's some there for the 2.0 version as well. Okay, so we're going to download the 2.2, and we're going to do the one with the tutorial, which has the cheat sheets. So you can have your hand held as you learn Seam, which I think is quite nice. And just download. It'll download the zip file inside Eclipse and install the project. Once you've done that, you can deploy it by there's two things you need to set under properties. We need this project here. Okay. Seam settings. We add the Seam home directory. Okay, so that's what the home directory looks like. That's a version of Seam that I downloaded from the seam.org website. It's version 2.2. Okay, and the other thing that we need to, sorry, should close that. The second thing we need to set is the project facets to make sure that Seam is version 2.2, and also that I think it's 2.2 by default though. In this version of JBoss Developer Studio, I'll be listing all the version numbers at the end. This is 4.0.0 beta 2 JBoss Developer Studio. So and we have JBoss EAP version, which is not the free version. I wasn't able to get it working with the free version, disappointingly. So yeah, rather than lots and lots of messing about, I think I'm just happier to pay the $99. Okay, so we click OK, and then you shouldn't see any more problems in your problem view. And you need to do the same thing for photo album. You've got that one installed. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just prove that the debug works. So, as you can see, this is not my first attempt at getting the screencast going. Apologies if the video or if the audio is a bit shaky. But I guess the most important thing is what's going on the screen. So I've made a change to the code and I've saved it. And now I have the application running as we speak. I ran it by going to the ear project and then saying debug as, and then debug on server. And I'm going to now add an album because I've got my breakpoint in the album manager class in the add album method. So if I add an album, save it, it jumps into the Eclipse perspective. Sometimes Eclipse goes into a funny, you just see two views. So you just need to reset perspective. It hasn't happened here, but sometimes it happens, just so you know. Anyway. And we should see JDM, I think 6 was the last number I used there. Okay, so apologies, I need to plug my computer in. Okay, so step over. So we can see our system out there on the console at the bottom and JDM 6. Okay, so that just proves that the breakpoint, so that the code is in the same state as in the debugger. Okay. The versions I'm working with, again, JBoss Developer Studio, which you have to pay $99 for a 1-year subscription. The JBoss EAP version, which I think also is $99, and let's face it, if you're going to go into production, then you would use that version. And thirdly, Seam 2.1.1 CR3, which I downloaded from the seamframework.org website. And last but not least, this screencast was created using screen-o-matic.com. And if I hadn't been so cheap as to not pay the $9, you wouldn't see the watermark, but it's a pretty cool way of doing screencasts. And I think I'll be using it again. Okay, so thank you very much for listening, and if you have any questions, just post comments to the YouTube page, unless of course you're a automated script from a porn website, in which case I humbly request that you refrain from doing so.